Hi everybody, thanks for joining us for Northern Ag TV. Well, about a year ago, a oilseed advisory committee was created in Montana to explore the idea of an assessment for research and promotion of oilseeds. Well, earlier this month, the committee met and decided to move forward with an assessment only focused on canola. I spoke with Kyle Ellis, a farmer from Conrad who serves on that committee, and asked them why they decided to focus on just canola.
The canola industry's growing a little bit bigger, it seems like, than, your other oil seeds. A lot of people are trying it. There's a few more markets for it. And so I think just sticking to one oil seed for the time being, at least, would really specific our research and our funds to that one oil seed to increase production, hopefully acres of it, yield, all that good stuff.
So later this spring, canola growers will receive a ballot to be able to vote on whether they'd like to implement a refundable checkoff. Tom Hagen, a farmer from Scobie, also serves on that committee and told us what they hope to accomplish with the checkoff.
We want an assessment for canola research in Montana, and it would involve various projects, maybe trials of winter canola, for example, or fertilizer trials too, date of seeding. It would be a worthwhile assessment. It would help canola producers in the state and probably encourage more people to get into canola.
The proposed assessment is $10 a hundredweight or a nickel a bushel, which is on par with similar assessments in Idaho and Washington. So on a 20 bushel an acre yield, that'd come out to just $1 an acre. Well, USDA Wildlife Services published its annual report on their efforts to manage wildlife and reduce conflict between humans and wildlife. About half of Wildlife Services' budget comes from either state agencies, counties, or livestock producer organizations. In Montana, Wildlife Services confirmed 1,200 events of predator damage on cattle and sheep. Of course, the most common predator being coyotes. Nationwide, coyotes kill more than 300,000 head of livestock each year. So last year, Wildlife Services removed almost 10,000 coyotes in Montana, and across the country, 58,000 coyotes were lethally removed. Well, hay prices are near some of their lowest levels in years. Right now, USDA is quoting alfalfa and grass mix from $110 to $150 a ton. And in the last couple of years, we have seen production increase and stocks start to rebuild. But this year, USDA is projecting harvested hay acres at 48.9 million. That's 900,000 below a year ago and the smallest total since 1905. Using the 5-year average yield, that put production down 6.5% from a year ago, leading to the expectation of higher prices this year, with some analysts saying don't be surprised if we see hay prices up $20 to $30 a ton this year. And it's no surprise that beef demand has been outstanding in recent years, and a big part of that is ground beef. Over half of U.S. beef consumption is ground beef. Now, there's a few factors for that. Partially, we're seeing consumers trading down within the beef complex as price-conscious shoppers look for a cheaper option. And also, we're seeing a bit of a cultural revival for protein, with emphasis being placed on the health benefits of quality protein. Demand for ground beef reached record levels last year and is on pace to exceed that in 2025. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back to look at our markets right after this.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.
Talking with someone that you know is stressed out, those are difficult things to approach, but if you're good friends with those people, reach out and say, I'm here to talk to you. We can find somewhere to get some assistance. It's hard to get involved, but at the same time, you want to just say, hey, there is help available.
For more tips in dealing with stress in agriculture or for free counseling for egg producers, visit beyondtheweather.com.
Well, as we come back to look at our markets, cattle futures have fully recovered from the sell-off that resulted from tariffs and the meltdown in the stock market. Now, yesterday was kind of just a holding pattern as Traders are waiting for a reason to push this market higher, although we did see a few cents added in the market. A lot waiting on the cash-fed cattle trade. Live sales so far $1 better, but they could come in higher. Feedlots holding out for more money, and these strong wholesale beef prices may encourage packers to maintain slaughter levels. At the Back to Grass feeder special at Western Livestock in Great Falls this week, 4-weight steers topped out at $442, most of the 5-weights $360 to $389, and the light 6-weights $340 to $362. At Payson Billings, we saw 6-weight heifers bringing $303 to $322, and 7 and 8-weight feeder heifers $265 to $281. Some of those light 7-weight replacements $304 to $305. The wheat market has trended down pretty much for the last month here, and not a lot seems to be changing. Rain falling in parts of the southern plains did add some market pressure. Also, spring wheat planting is running ahead of the average pace, and that has contributed to a little bit of selling, but the market remains oversold, having lost 21 cents on the spring wheat in the last 2 weeks, and winter wheat down about 30. Well, thanks for joining us for today's program. I'm Coulter Brown. Have a great Friday.